A serial killer is terrorizing the city of Spokane.
All of a sudden, a string of prostitutes were ending up dead.
11 women are brutally murdered in 2 years.
There had never been killings like that. People didn't just disappear left and right.
Police launch an extensive manhunt.
But we couldn't keep up. The killings were coming too fast.
When police finally get the break they need, it leads them to a suspect no one would ever imagine.
If you were the person living next door to him, you would not think that he was the one down killing prostitutes.
June 14th, 1996. The semi-nude body of a missing prostitute is found in the woods outside Spokane. Her name is Shannon Zielinski.
She had been shot to death, and we determined that she didn't exhibit any defensive wounds.
To sheriff's detectives Rick Grobenstein and Fred Rouge, that could mean she knew her killer.
Yeah, there's the beer cans and stuff.
They can also tell Zielinski's been there a while.
Her body was badly decomposed. What this looks like.
The killer dumped her in a hurry and made a minimal effort to hide the body. Yet a thorough search yields only one piece of evidence, a .25 caliber shell casing.
For the most part, there wasn't a lot there.
In a prostitute's murder, detectives focus on the usual suspects, pimps and pushers.
I remember telling my partner that if this was one of her associates or drug-related persons, we could probably solve this case.
Grobenstein does a routine check of court records. He quickly finds a suspect, one with a powerful motive to kill Shannon Zielinski.
She was a witness in an upcoming trial of some drug dealers.
The dealer, Jojo Andrews, is charged with 2 drug-related murders. Was Zielinski killed to stop her from testifying?
We investigated the possibility that he and/or his associates might be involved in her murder.
But Andrews is already in jail. After checking him out, the detectives don't think he has the pull to arrange a hit from inside.
Thanks, I'll talk to you then. Bye.
They shift their investigation to Spokane's red light district. Detectives focus on a seedy stretch known as the Track.
The Track is a place where you could find a prostitute if you wanted to buy one. It was kind of the underbelly of society.
The question now is, could the killer be a John? When detectives question the women, they get nothing.
They don't know names, real names, hence the nickname John. And their trade is by nature secretive. They avoid police, they avoid witnesses.
With no suspects, the case stalls. 14 months later, another gruesome murder scene. In an alfalfa field northeast of town, a farmer finds a woman's decaying remains.
You don't expect to see something like that out baling hay, let me tell you.
The body is nude from the waist down. The victim's been shot in the head, chest, and shoulder. Rouge and Grobenstein believe she was killed at the site.
It was a rural area. She was off the beaten path. People don't generally carry bodies very far, so she wasn't killed and then deposited there.
It looks like body's been here more than just a couple of days. I'd say
That's-
closer to a couple of weeks.
Some of the things we found at that scene, a pair of women's shoes, a few articles of clothing.
Detectives spot blue fibers on her clothes and notice a pearl button is missing from her shirt. Could they be clues to her killer?
We'll just call the forensic people, wait for them to show up, and we can go from there.
It doesn't take long for them to identify the victim.
That turned out to be a 16-year-old girl, a runaway by the name of Jennifer Joseph.
She's a prostitute from the Track, just like Shannon Zielinski. The cases are strikingly similar. That same day, in a vacant lot 13 miles away, a similar grisly scene is unfolding for city police. Detective John Miller is staring into the lifeless eyes of a decaying corpse.
All homicides are bad, but this was particularly nasty in so much as there was a lot of blood evidence. It was late August, and I had never seen maggot infestation like I had in her body.
The victim is Heather Hernandez, shot twice in the head. A blood trail shows she was dragged from a car in a parking lot and dumped. The crime scene is only a half a mile from the Track. Miller discovers Hernandez was a prostitute.
It was known that prostitutes would frequent that parking lot. It's secluded, you can pull in there and not be seen.
Now, 3 women, all prostitutes, are dead. The Zielinski case goes cold, but city police launch an investigation into Heather Hernandez, while sheriff's detectives look into Jennifer Joseph's murder. Sheriff's detectives Grabenstein and Rouge find out that Jennifer Joseph was very popular with the Johns, which meant she was a threat to older prostitutes.
I'd heard about her from the other women. They were concerned because she was very young and very pretty.
We're on both these lists.
Was she killed to eliminate competition?
Narrow down this list.
Other prostitutes are possible suspects.
When you have nothing else to go on, every one of them is a serious suspect.
Meanwhile, City Police Detective Miller is looking into his own case, the Heather Hernandez murder. He starts with her known associates.
Initially, you're trying to see if they have a problem with a boyfriend or a husband or an ex or something.
You're the reason I'm not making any money.
Heather recently left her pimp, a dangerous move for a prostitute.
I'm Detective Miller.
But Miller discovers the pimp is so small time, he doesn't even own a car. He couldn't drive Hernandez to the parking lot where she's dumped. He, too, is cleared as a suspect. The Hernandez and Joseph cases stall until Rouge and Miller start sharing information.
City police and the sheriff's office were in a joint building, and we have constant daily interaction.
Either cocaine or alcohol pretty much on every victim toxicology report was.
We kind of had an unofficial alliance between the two of us where we were keeping track, we were checking with what the other one was finding.
At this moment, the murder of Shannon Zielinski 14 months earlier still seems like an isolated case, but it doesn't take long for investigators to begin trying to tie the Joseph and Hernandez murders together.
It would be extremely unusual in a community the size of Spokane to have 2 prostitutes killed on the same day and for it not to be related.
But there's a snag that detectives can't overlook.
The bullets that were used to kill the 2 women were different. Well, it doesn't necessarily mean that it was 2 different people, just that 2 different guns were used.
Then investigators get a major break. A prostitute conclusively links the 2 victims.
Last time I saw Jennifer was right here.
In the area where Jennifer Joseph and Heather Hernandez had been working, we learned that another prostitute had talked to both girls and had been at the very same location.
It was the last time Jennifer Joseph was seen alive. But the eyewitness gives detectives something even more valuable, an explosive tip that could blow the case wide open. 3 women are savagely murdered in Spokane, 2 of them found on the same day. Is it the work of a single killer? Police believe so, but have little to go on. All they know is that the 3 were prostitutes, worked an area known as the Track, and were shot.
Slow day. Sure is.
Then, detectives catch a major break. A prostitute tells them she saw 2 of the murder victims working the same area of the Track that night. In fact, she saw one of the murder victims right before she disappeared.
This witness gave us a description of a vehicle that she had seen with Jennifer Joseph as a passenger. And as Jennifer passed her, she waved, and that was the last time Jennifer Joseph was ever seen.
White guy, late 30s, 40.
The witness says the driver is a Caucasian male, 30 to 40 years old, and drives a distinctive, easily recognized car, a white Corvette. When Police Detective Miller hears this, he knows they're onto something. He goes back to his case file.
On the Heather Hernandez investigation, there was a person that lived next to this parking lot where her body was recovered. He said, well, prostitutes use it all the time. And I asked him, do you remember any specific vehicles? And he said a white Corvette.
Investigators now believe the same car, the white Corvette, was possibly used in both murder cases.
The first thoughts that went through my mind were that we had a serial killer operating.
On the Track, patrol cars are told to watch for a white Corvette.
Charlie 350 stop.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, detectives call the Department of Licensing to track possible owners, but most car registrations don't include a vehicle's color.
So to be on the safe side, we had to include all Corvettes. That list was several thousand.
We got 900 Johns and we got what?
3,000 Corvettes.
Investigators begin cross-checking the car owners against an arrest sheet of 900 Johns.
They don't give you much to work with, do they?
They've barely started when another prostitute disappears.
Guys, we got a problem. What's up?
Darla Scott was a prostitute and a drug abuser. Every policeman here knew her.
Darla's twin sister came down to the track and said, "Darla's missing." That's all she had to say. We knew. We knew she was gone.
Detectives find Darla Scott's body days later. It's the same MO as Zielinski, Joseph, and Hernandez. Semi-nude, shot in the head with a small caliber handgun, a prostitute from the track. It's now clear to everyone that a sadistic killer is stalking Spokane, and he's just racked up his fourth victim.
Now we began investigating them as one large case.
For investigators, it looks like the killer's now trying to cover his tracks.
Darla Scott's body was found in a small grave, not completely buried. Her feet and her head were protruding from the grave. They never dig the grave big enough.
Detectives find 2 plastic bags in Scott's grave.
Those 2-handled bags that you would typically get at a grocery store.
Why the bags? Detectives have no idea. But the medical examiner makes a huge find, one of the most important pieces of evidence in the entire case. In death, Darla has given them a biological ID of her killer, a sperm sample.
This was the first time that we had a full DNA profile.
What police need now is a solid suspect. If his DNA is a match, they've found their killer.
In fact, I'm looking at Darla's picture right now.
Detectives find a suspect, someone who knew Darla, the track, and possibly other victims very well.
We had one individual in particular who we were interested in because we knew that he was a rather close associate of hers.
You know a Darla Scott? Yes, I do.
They bring in a long-haul trucker named Wilson.
She's gotten to be a friend of mine. I've known her for a couple of years. She's a friend.
Just a friend?
His relationship with her, he did not see as a prostitute-John relationship. He viewed it as a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. Naturally, he comes to mind as a suspect.
So would you be willing to take a polygraph?
Oh, I'm not going to take a polygraph test. Are you charging me with something?
I don't have to tell you where I'm going. Come on.
He was trying to get her off the track, off the drugs.
Come back here.
Did the fact that Darla was still on the street make Wilson angry enough to kill her? Did that same rage cause him to kill the others, too?
Off of me!
Feeling the heat, Wilson finally agrees to testing.
Did you kill Darla Scott?
No.
To investigators' surprise, he passes the polygraph test. When his blood sample is checked, his DNA is not a match.
No match in the DNA and no match in the blood.
Another promising suspect come and gone. Detectives are back to square one.
But as far as having a particular suspect in mind, we did not.
But someone is still killing. A month after Darla Scott hits the morgue, police find victim number 5.
It's a deceased human. He says she's been there days.
Police find Shawn Johnson, another prostitute, near a golf course. Her murder fits the same MO as the others.
The killer generally seemed to be shooting his victims in the head with a .25 caliber Raven pistol and basically dumping them a short distance from a roadway.
But this time, police find a ghoulish new twist. A blue plastic smiley face bag is tied over Johnson's head. Detectives wonder, is the killer mocking their inability to catch him?
It was very frustrating.
Tests reveal that Johnson was shot with the same caliber gun as Zielinski and Hernandez. The killer's DNA matches that from Darla Scott, and there are no defensive wounds on the arms of the new victim. At this point, police are now almost certain the serial killer is a John.
These women are not going to get into a car that they're frightened of the occupant.
Have fun.
So it's very possible that it's somebody that they've dated before and they're comfortable with.
Police keep the existence of a serial killer secret. They're afraid if they go public, he'll leave the area or destroy evidence. But the women on the track don't need to be told that he's out there. They know.
Women talked about it all the time. One woman had someone say to her that, well, maybe you'll be next.
Here, and he's about to step up the pace of his bloody rampage. A deranged serial killer is on the loose in Spokane. With the discovery of his 5th victim, prostitute Shawn Johnson, authorities ramp up the investigation. City police and county sheriffs join forces to form a serial homicide task force.
That way you have the 2 departments working full-time on it. And on something like this, the more opinions, the more different perspectives you get on it, the better.
We actually brought in an entire team of FBI profilers, and they give us in a profile of the individual that like clean-cut, between the ages of, I think, 25 to 35, an organized type of person, probably holding down a job, but able to move around quite a bit.
But before the task force can even get started, 5 more women are reported missing, presumed dead. On the street,
There was always the fear of not coming back.
the prostitutes don't just fear the killer, they fear what he might be.
Even if I had heard anything, I wasn't going to say anything. I had heard the rumor that it was a cop just trying to clean up the streets.
They're not alone. Even task force detectives suspect the prostitutes could be right.
A lot of the women had been double tapped, and by that I mean 2 shots to the head.
A double tap is a tactic used by both the police and military.
You're taught to shoot 2 times in quick succession and then re-examine your target and see if the threat still exists.
It could explain how the killer gets close to the women without causing alarm.
He could approach her as just a street contact, which police officers do with prostitutes all the time, and she would probably be completely at ease with him and would have no reason whatsoever to suspect he might murder her.
With each victim, he's spending quite a bit of time with that victim.
To investigators, it's a disturbing idea, but one they can't rule out, and they're willing to look at everyone.
He appears to know his way around.
As the investigation continues, their focus on the track, the killer's favorite hunting ground, gets tighter.
The women we've observed out there will enter, obviously, numerous cars.
Undercover agents and surveillance cameras collect license plate numbers of men cruising the track.
That was kind of an eye-opening experience because we got virtually every facet of society: ministers, priests, doctors.
It'll probably be a mammoth undertaking because we have hundreds of tapes, probably with hundreds of license plates on each one. We also looked at police records as from people who were contacted in that area, arrested and not arrested. We gathered all their names.
The list is long, but police know what night Jennifer Joseph disappeared. They use that information to narrow down their suspects. Anybody who has an alibi for that night is checked off.
Where were you on August 4th?
August 4th, I was home watching the football game.
Was at home cooking dinner with my wife.
Oh, it's easy. I was at the squash club.
If you could provide an alibi for that date, then that would eliminate you as a suspect.
So would you be willing to give a blood sample?
Everyone else is asked for a blood sample. More than 500 men comply.
Yeah, no problem.
It was a very massive investigation.
If someone refuses a blood test, his name goes on a suspects list. And there are other lists as well, including the original list of Corvette owners.
We also did traffic stops that occurred in that same area. Individuals that had purchased 25 automatics, cab drivers, and that worked in that specific area.
While detectives try to sift through their lists, there's unexpected relief. One of the 5 missing women contacts police.
Have you heard from her since?
She was out of town, but the day after Christmas, 2 others are discovered together, dead in a ditch. Like victim number 5, Shawn Johnson, each woman has several plastic bags over her head.
That means a concern for spilling blood somewhere, more than likely a vehicle. It's happening immediately after the shooting because there's not blood up and down the clothing.
But this time, the killer has left something new behind.
They were covered with leaves and yard waste that was not from the surrounding area.
Investigators determine the killer has hauled in yard debris to hide the corpses.
A lot of it would be foliage that you would find a person putting in their own yard.
Detectives believe the killer's in such a hurry, he brings his own brush to hide the bodies. Hoping to unearth a vital clue that will lead them to a killer, The investigators study the brush and create a new list to help detectives in a search for suspects. Perhaps they can match the plants to someone's yard.
We had sufficient amount of foliage that if we could make a determination of a residence that had that foliage, it would give us a very good suspect.
These latest killings also convinced detectives the killer must have a second vehicle besides the Corvette he's known to drive.
Transportation of a couple of the bodies would necessitate a van.
On the track, police, already on the alert for a Corvette, now look for a van as well.
I need you to step out of the van, sir. What did I do wrong, sir?
There's an immediate payoff to their search.
Open up the back. I'm gonna open up the back. Now, sir.
We had one individual who was stopped looking for a prostitute.
Where are the bags?
Patrol officers noted that in his van he had plastic bags and that he had a gun. It was a .25.
I got a license for it in the glove compartment if you want to see it. Put your hand behind your back.
Has the task force brought down the killer? It looks like it. He drives a van, has plastic bags in the back, and has the exact model of weapon used in most of the killings.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you...
Detectives are convinced they've finally broken the case.
211. Shopping bags?
But when the results of the blood tests come back, the driver's DNA proves he's not their man.
It was like being on a roller coaster. We'd see somebody like that, we'd think, boy, this could be our guy. We'd gather the evidence, send it to the crime lab, only to find out in a few days that he wasn't our guy.
In February 1998, victim number 8 is found.
We couldn't keep up. The killings were coming too fast. We needed more help.
To get help, the task force decides to go public and hold a press conference.
What we're looking at is a white male that's 6 foot tall, medium build, approximately 35 years old.
And of course, when that kind of an announcement is made that a serial killer is in your community, people's eyebrows go up and they get scared.
Once the story hits the news, leads pour in by the thousands. Most are useless, but one just might give police the critical break they need. Spokane's serial killer is continuing his deadly spree. For almost 2 years, investigators follow lead after lead and get nowhere. In April 1998, another body of a woman is found, the second in 2 months. Both fit the same MO as the others, including plastic bags over their heads. The victim count is up to 9, which includes 4 of the 5 women reported missing just 6 months ago.
The thoughts that went through my mind were, I wonder if we're ever going to be able to catch this guy.
Anybody else have anything?
Detectives beef up their presence on the track. 2 male investigators posing as Johns go undercover to try to catch the killer.
We're actually here to protect you. There's a serial killer in the tract area who's been killing prostitutes going on.
We've heard about some killings on the street.
Once the women believe the detectives are there to help them, they offer up a high-priority suspect, a pimp and drug dealer named Chicago.
Is Chicago like, is he the pimp?
He brags to several women he's the killer.
Says he's the one who's been killing those girls.
That's not real smart to do that, and it didn't take us long to run him down.
I will kill you.
Several people believe that he might be the serial killer, possibly because women wouldn't work for him, so he killed them.
Detectives bring him in for questioning. Chicago denies everything.
Hell no.
He said, I wouldn't kill a woman. He said, I might kill a man, but I'm not killing any women.
You don't believe me? Put me in a polygraph. Give me a blood test.
Have you ever killed a prostitute?
No.
We already had the polygraph examiner set up and ready to go. So before he could have a chance to reconsider, we sent him in and he passed with flying colors.
Investigators wait expectantly for the DNA results. Once again, they're disappointed.
Blood test came back clean.
Chicago's blood test clears him. He's just another suspect who doesn't pan out.
So then why are you telling people that you're a serial killer?
Because it gives me juice.
When asked, why did you tell people that you are the serial killer? He was real blunt about it. Gives me juice on the street, gives me muscle. I'm a drug dealer. If they think I'm the serial killer, ain't nobody gonna stiff me for a drug debt.
Police now respond immediately if a prostitute is reported missing.
We decided that we would immediately begin the investigation as if it were a homicide.
Melody Murfin, a friend of victims Shannon Zielinski and Darla Scott, is the next to disappear.
I started trying to find Melody in June of '98. Hi, this is Detective Bentley with the Homicide Task Force.
Detective Dave Bentley focuses on Murfin's ex-boyfriend as a prime suspect.
Do you have a minute to talk to me?
He's a biker named Lenny.
He was the last person to have seen her alive. When was the last time that you saw her?
She's alive. She called me from California. She's not dead.
Bentley thinks Lenny is lying.
I can only conjecture as to why, and that would be to get me off his back.
Lenny declines blood and lie detector testing.
No test for me.
His refusal heightens Bentley's suspicions.
So we continued to investigate him. We thought that he could have been the serial killer.
Then Bentley finally convinces Lenny to undergo testing. The results are mixed.
Did you kill Melody Murfin?
No.
His DNA proves he's not Spokane's serial killer, but he fails the polygraph test.
I'd like to ask you that question again.
That means he could still be Melody Murfin's killer.
We still weren't sure that he wasn't responsible for Melody's disappearance, and so he continued to be a person of interest.
Murfin's body doesn't turn up, but detectives keep looking. They also try different tactics, like monitoring services held for the victims in hopes of finding the killer in the crowd.
We're gathered here to mourn the loss of life.
In a lot of situations, a serial killer will actually be present during some of the memorial services.
But no one stands out as a suspect. A month later, the killer's 10th victim is found.
It just seemed like it was just one after another.
Meanwhile, tips keep flowing in from the public.
I think it was upwards of 6,000 tips that we had to follow up.
Most are dead ends, but one is electrifying.
Spokane Police Department, Detective Miller.
Desperate investigators think this time they've definitely got their killer.
Stanley, Peter, Zach.
It starts when 23-year-old drifter Kelly Conway is reported missing. Police get a tip. She was last seen at the hotel apartment of Stanley Peterzak, a registered sex offender.
Now what's that address?
Stanley had been bragging to people at the hotel that he had done something to this girl and actually that they had been eating her in some of the soup that he had been making.
Detective Miller immediately runs a background check. He learns another woman had died in Peterzak's apartment months earlier.
They never could determine exactly how she died, and then I found out that there was another girl that was missing that had been associated with Stanley.
Miller also discovers that Peterzak is charged with raping a young runaway. He's a good fit for their profile of the killer. Then Miller receives more tips that tie Peterzak to Kelly Conway.
We received information from people that he had claimed burning her in the furnace in the basement.
Miller knows it's not the usual MO, but he wonders if the killer could be committing murders in ways they don't even know about. They get a search warrant.
You guys are gonna want to see this.
What do we got?
Detectives are shocked when they search the basement.
Check this out.
We found a piece of scalp and hair adhering to a pipe there. And in and around this boiler, we began to find what appeared to be pieces of bone.
It's bone.
When the fragments are analyzed, there is a match with Kelly Conway. Police charge Peterzak with her murder. Without a doubt, he is her killer. But when they try to match his DNA to the killer responsible for the 10 prostitute murders, there is no match. He's not the one they've been looking for. July 1998. The mystery killer has brutally murdered 10 women. It's a nightmare for police. They know the types of cars and guns the killer uses. They've been given a physical description. They even have his DNA. But with all that evidence, there's no suspect to hang it on.
It doesn't appear that he's upset by crossing racial barrier lines. We have Asian victims, white victims.
Investigators are cross-checking their suspect lists. Corvette drivers, 25 caliber gun owners, men who refuse blood tests, and at least 24 other lists.
The amount of data we had was incredible. It was just huge.
We had a number of lists that contained literally thousands of names. We had to categorize and accumulate all this information that we got and couldn't ignore it.
Sifting through the lists slows the investigation down. But Doug Silver, co-commander of the task force, is a computer hobbyist. He's so sure the killer can be found within the lists, he spends more than a month trying to develop a program to narrow down the number of possible suspects.
Now, the work I did back then, I could probably do in, maybe a half a day.
In July 1999, he runs his makeshift program. It works. The computer spits out 44 names, men who appear on 2 or more of the suspect lists. Could one of these 44 men be the killer? Detectives are about to find out. As the search for the man murdering Spokane's prostitutes enters its 3rd year, 11 bodies have been found. But investigators are no closer to catching the city's serial killer. Tired of dead ends, the task force's co-commander, Doug Silver, creates his own lead. It's a computer program that cross-checks long lists of possible suspects, whittling thousands of names down to only 44.
Those were given to the detectives to do additional investigation and to look at them as good possible suspects.
Each detective gets about 6 names. Rick Grabenstein has been on the case since the first victim, Shannon Zielinski, was found.
When I received the names I was assigned to, I did background checks on them.
One of the names he gets is on 3 of the suspect lists.
They were lists of persons who had been in contact with prostitutes.
You cool?
Traffic stops, which were initiated by patrol officers in the area where the prostitutes worked, and his name was also on the list of owners of Corvettes in the period that we were searching for.
The suspect's name is Robert Yates.
He lived in a relatively upper middle-class neighborhood. He seemed to be employed. He didn't have any indicators that would immediately jump out.
He's hardly the usual suspect. Yates is married with 5 children. He works at an aluminum plant. He's a former prison guard and a decorated Army helicopter pilot. He still flies choppers for the National Guard. He doesn't seem to fit the profile of a killer.
He appeared to be basically innocuous compared to a lot of other people.
Grabenstein drives by Yates's house. No Corvette, no van, no plants he can see that match the yard debris covering several victims. It looks like another dead end, but investigators have to follow every lead.
I attempted to contact Mr. Yates for an interview. I left messages at his phone, didn't get any response.
Excuse me, are you Mrs. Robert Yates?
Yes.
Grabenstein finally stops and leaves his card with Yates's wife.
Okay.
Yates calls and agrees to come in.
Detective Bentley, Robert Yates.
Nice to meet you.
Investigators ask Yates about a traffic ticket he'd gotten on the track 2 years earlier.
Our records show you got a traffic ticket in the area of town known as the track. Remember that ticket?
Yes, I remember I was driving through that area.
The officer who wrote the ticket mistakenly put the car down as a Camaro.
Says here you're driving a white Camaro.
Investigators are hoping Yates will confirm that he was actually driving a Corvette.
I'd never owned a white Camaro. I had a white Corvette at the time.
Yates has now linked himself to the murders. The detectives bear down.
What about the second time you were in the area?
A police officer had actually seen him pick up a prostitute. They drove a short distance to a secluded area. The officer waited a few seconds, stopped them, and got a story from them.
She a prostitute?
No, officer, no, she's actually the daughter of a friend of mine.
Yates tells the officer the woman is the daughter of a friend. She got stranded, and he's giving her a lift home. But Yates says he can't remember the name of the friend.
It's like, just jumped out of my head for a second.
Anytime somebody says, oh, I was down there picking up a prostitute because her father asked me to, I mean, you're going, yeah, sure. as if we haven't heard that before.
That story has been used probably 1,000 times, never works, and we knew it was a lie.
Yates stands by his story.
I didn't lie to him then. I'm not lying to you now.
Probably confronted him 3 or 4 times about not lying. It'll make you look like you're lying about other things. But he continued to stick to this story.
We were friends from work, and he'd asked me for a favor, and I was there to pick her up. That's why I was there.
The detectives, now highly suspicious, ask Yates for a blood sample, but they are completely unprepared for his answer.
He said that he would have to discuss that with his wife.
If I was being questioned about my contacts with prostitute, the last person in the world that I would discuss this situation with would be my wife.
Yates ultimately refuses to give blood. Is this a sign of guilt, or are detectives in for another disappointment?
I think in both of our minds, we thought this could be the right guy.
To be sure, detectives have to dig up more evidence. They locate a white Corvette Yates sold in May 1998. Rick Grabenstein does a quick inspection.
It did have a blue carpet, which was of interest to us because Jennifer Joseph's clothing had blue carpet fibers on it.
Grabenstein plucks some carpet fibers for testing. If they match those on the victim's clothing, it could be the evidence that breaks the case wide open.
The crime lab called and told me that it was as close to an exact match as you were going to get.
Police seize the Corvette. When they do a detailed search, they find more evidence that points to Robert Yates as a monstrous killer.
Under a seat, there was a mother-of-pearl button. And my partner, Fred Rooch, said, I know I've seen that button somewhere. I started looking at pictures from all of our different scenes. We go back to the office, and here's Fred with a picture of Jennifer Joseph's blouse, which has on this one sleeve a matching mother-of-pearl button, and on the other sleeve, the button is missing.
You know what? That's a good match right there.
It's a real good match.
A suspicious stain on the car seat turns out to be blood. When DNA tests confirm it as Jennifer Joseph's blood, they know they have Yates nailed for at least one murder.
Jennifer Joseph's homicide was unique from all the others. A completely different gun and no DNA evidence. So the only thing we could prove was that Jennifer Joseph was killed in that Corvette.
Put your hands on the car.
But that's enough to get Yates off the streets. On April 18, 2000, police arrest him for the murder of Jennifer Joseph. But is he the serial killer they've been looking for?
Put your hand behind your back.
By all outward appearances, Yates is not only a normal guy, he's an outstanding citizen.
He's been able to maintain a marriage, raise 5 children, complete a successful military career. He's rubbing elbows with colonels and generals. None of them are seeing him as a serial killer.
He was no one that would stand out, no one that the neighbors could point to and say there's a possible suspect.
The moment of truth arrives. Now that he's under arrest for Jennifer Joseph's murder, Yates can no longer refuse a blood test. When the DNA results come back, a task force memo says it all.
Check this out. We got him.
Once they identify Yates as the killer, everything falls into place. Investigators believe anytime Yates had an urge, he cruised the track in his white Corvette, hunting a victim.
Hey, baby doll.
Once he finds his target, he chats her up. He tells her he is a helicopter pilot and the father of 5 children.
All this information apparently served to make the women relax around him and let down their guard.
Once he's conned the women into his car, he drives to a secluded location.
He waited till they were in a position not to resist or not to see what he was doing when he would shoot them.
Then he dumps the body.
Minimal effort to conceal, minimal effort to prevent their discovery.
Eventually, Yates becomes more sophisticated. He switches to a black van to make it easier to kill and then transport his victims before dumping them in and around the Spokane area.
We found several areas in that reacted positively for the presence of human blood, which did turn out to be from some of the homicide victims.
After dumping a body, he sometimes covers it with the foliage from his own home.
The botanical information that we went through and looked at that, everything that we had come up was in fact in his yard.
There's no question. Robert Yates is the serial killer who's been terrorizing Spokane for more than 4 years. In a plea bargain on October 19, 2000, Yates admits to 13 murders, 10 in Spokane, and 3 others around the state, dating back to 1975.
How do you plead? Guilty, Your Honor.
He also pleads guilty to 1 attempted murder and agrees to solve a mystery that has baffled police for 2.5 years.
And in addition, the defendant agrees that he will disclose the location of Melody Murfin, one of the victims.
Melody Murfin is the missing prostitute whose boyfriend kept insisting was alive in California. With information from Yates, police find her body buried in Yates's backyard, right outside the bedroom he shared with his wife. In October 2000, Robert Yates is sentenced to 408 years in prison for the 13 killings he's confessed to.
There is a factual basis for each of your pleas, and the court does thereby find you guilty.
In 2002, he's tried for 2 additional murders in Tacoma and is sentenced to death.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Richard Ransom. Tonight, family and friends want to know who killed a Mid-South mother of 2 right in front of her 2 children. Someone shot Vanity Macklin while she was driving in Memphis, and so far, police have no idea who did it. Hearing his boy's frantic, "Granny, Granny, get here now. My mom just got shot. Granny, Granny, get here now. My mom just got shot." Those words, screamed through a phone by a 12-year-old boy, would forever change a family. The call came at 8:17 p.m. on a Monday night. By the time his grandmother arrived, Vanity Lafayette Macklin was fighting for her life, blood pouring from a gunshot wound to her head. Her 2 sons, just 10 and 12, were still in the backseat of the crashed Volkswagen Jetta, watching their mother die. This wasn't a random act of violence. This wasn't a robbery gone wrong. This was a targeted hit on a 33-year-old mother, business owner, and community leader, executed while her children watched. Welcome to Shadows of Crime. I'm your host, and tonight we're diving into a case that has haunted Memphis, Tennessee for over a year. A woman gunned down at the intersection of Mill Branch and Rains. A killer who vanished without a trace, and 2 boys left without their mother. What would drive someone to murder a woman in front of her own children? Who wanted Vanity Macklin dead? And why, after all this time, has no one been brought to justice? Drop a comment right now. Have you ever witnessed a crime that went unsolved? How did it change your perception of safety in your community? Hi, my name is Vanity Lafayette, founder and CEO of Nothing But Refund Taxes, located in Memphis, Tennessee. That's how Vanity introduced herself in promotional videos for her tax preparation business. Confident, professional, ambitious. A woman who had built something from nothing. Born in Marion, Arkansas, Vanity moved to Memphis and earned her bachelor's degree in human resources management from Columbia Southern University. But she wasn't content working for others. She launched Nothing But Refund Taxes, offering virtual and in-person tax preparation across all 50 states. We offer virtual or in-person tax preparation in all 50 states. We would love for you to bring in your personal or small business taxes and join our tax family. Her company specialized in both individual and small business tax preparation, along with bookkeeping services. But Vanity was more than just a successful entrepreneur. She was a motivational force in her community. I'll let you know that in this season, we are not living in poverty. We are not living in poverty. Before you buy another bill, another shoe, another purse, or book a vacation, take that money and invest, she advised her followers. We are reaching 6 and 7 figures this year. We are reaching 6 and 7 figures this year. We already reached high 6 figures last year. This year we are hitting our peaks rate going into the seven figures. Text break it. If you get left behind, that is solely on you. We are going and reaching our potential. Purpose over popularity. Yeah, I know I say that all the time. Walking your purpose, living your purpose. Go out here, crush those goals. Reset, refocus, restart. Let's do. Her mantra, repeated in videos and conversations, was simple but powerful. Purpose over popularity. Walking your purpose, living your purpose. Tiana, who knew Vanity since high school, describes her as the friend who would call you out on your bullshit but then help you fix your life the next minute. She didn't have time for games. Everything she did was for those boys. Those boys, her sons, aged 10 and 12 at the time of her death, were the center of Vanity's world. She structured her business around their schedules, never missing basketball practices or school events. According to her mother, Vanessa Terry, she was big to the community. Heart big. Loved everybody. She would give the shirt off her back, especially for her 2 sons. When not working or caring for her children, Vanity enjoyed life fully. Social media shows her at parties with friends and family, always smiling, always the life of the gathering. In one video she's seen thanking her tax clients at an appreciation party. Y'all did an amazing time. Thank y'all for trusting me. No, thank all of y'all for coming out. I just want to show my appreciation for you for the hashtag DVI did an amazing job. Thank y'all for trusting me. Thank y'all for children made all of my views of the views as complicated. Little did she know how short those dreams would be. Monday, October 17, 2022, began like any other day for Vanity Macklin. She went about her business, managing her company and caring for her sons. Around 5 p.m., she dropped her 12-year-old off at basketball practice. I spoke with her that day at 5-ish, her mother, Vanessa Terry, later recalled. About 5-ish, she dropped my grandson off to go to basketball practice, the 12-year-old. She said she was going to the office. What happened in the next 3 hours remains largely unknown. What we do know is that at some point Vanity picked up both her sons. Perhaps she finished work early, perhaps plans changed, but by 8 p.m. all 3 were in her Volkswagen Jetta, driving through the Whitehaven area of Memphis. At approximately 8:10 p.m., as Vanity's car approached the intersection of Mill Branch and Rains, shots rang out. At least one bullet struck her in the head. Her car, now without a conscious driver, crashed into a utility pole. For agonizing minutes, her 2 sons sat in the back seat, watching their mother bleed, too shocked to call for help immediately. Eventually, the 12-year-old called his grandmother. He was, "Granny, get here now, my mom just got shot," Terry said, her voice breaking as she recounted the call. He was, Granny, get here now. My mom just got shot." Police and emergency services rushed to the scene. Witnesses described seeing the 2 boys exit the wrecked car, physically unharmed but clearly traumatized. Vanity was rushed to Regional 1 Hospital in critical condition. She never regained consciousness. Vanity Lafayette Macklin was pronounced dead at the hospital, leaving behind her 2 sons, her mother, and a community in shock. The initial police report classified the incident as an aggravated assault, but as the facts emerged, it became clear this was a targeted murder. Someone had deliberately shot a mother in the head while she was driving with her children. The question that would haunt her family for months afterward was simple but devastating. Why? Think about this. How many times have you driven through an intersection without a second thought? How quickly can life change at a traffic light? Share your thoughts below. As Memphis Police Department detectives began investigating Vanity's murder, they faced a puzzling case. There was no obvious motive, no clear suspects, no witnesses who saw the shooter. She was not involved in anything, insisted her mother. She was about her business and her boys. The intersection where Vanity was shot, Mill Branch and Rains, is a busy area in Whitehaven. Businesses line the streets, traffic flows constantly, yet somehow, a killer managed to pull alongside Vanity's car, fire at least one shot with deadly accuracy, and disappear without being identified. 4 days after the murder, on October 21, 2022, more than 100 people gathered at the Redeemed Empowerment Center for a vigil honoring Vanity. Family, friends, clients, and community members came together, many wearing orange, Vanity's favorite color. Her mother, Vanessa Bunton Terry, addressed the crowd with raw emotion and determination. Esther Tara Crawford, who had known Vanity for over a decade, spoke about her character. Vanity was generous. Vanity was full of humility, she told the crowd. I don't care how high she went or what she had, Vanity loved people. As the vigil concluded, countless orange balloons were released into the darkening sky, prayers giving way to sobs as they floated away. Much like the justice that seemed to be slipping through the family's fingers, despite the community outcry, leads in the case were scarce. Police canvassed the area, reviewed available surveillance footage, and interviewed potential witnesses. They offered a $10,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. Later, increased to $25,000. Yet no suspects were identified. 1 month after the murder, Vanessa Terry spoke to local news, her pain still fresh. To wake up every day, have to reface, my heart breaks every day. By October 17, 2023, 1 year after Vanity's death, the case remained unsolved. Her mother and sons held another memorial, releasing more orange balloons, and pleading again for anyone with information to come forward. It's been 365 days, but it feels like yesterday, Terry told reporters. The most baffling aspect of the case was the apparent lack of motive. Vanity wasn't involved in criminal activity. She had no known enemies. She was a legitimate businesswoman with a growing company and a positive reputation in the community. Yet someone wanted her dead badly enough to shoot her in front of her children. The Memphis Police Department's investigation hit roadblock after roadblock. Despite the busy location, no security cameras had captured a clear image of the shooter or the vehicle they were in. No shell casings were found at the scene, suggesting the killer may have used a revolver or carefully collected their brass. Detectives interviewed Vanity's clients, business associates, and acquaintances. They examined her financial records and phone records. They looked into potential business rivalries or personal conflicts. Nothing substantial emerged. We believe someone out there knows exactly what happened, said MPD Detective James Harris at a press conference 3 months after the murder. This was not random. This was planned, and the person who did this has likely spoken to someone about it. The case began to grow cold despite regular media coverage and community pressure. Billboards with Vanity's face and the reward information went up around Memphis. Social media campaigns urged people to come forward. The hashtag, Justice for Vanity, trended locally. Still, silence. For the investigators, the case was particularly disturbing because of the children's presence. To shoot someone with their kids in the car shows a level of callousness that's hard to comprehend, Detective Harris noted. This person is dangerous and needs to be off the streets. As months passed, the investigation continued, but with diminishing returns. New leads became scarce, the media coverage waned. Other murders in Memphis, a city plagued by violence, took precedence. But for Vanity's family, especially her sons, time didn't heal the wound. It only deepened the questions. In the aftermath of Vanity's murder, her sons, now without their mother, became the focus of community support. A GoFundMe campaign was established to help with their care and future needs. We have really built a whole community. We're a village for them, to support them, Vanessa Terry explained. The boys moved in with their grandmother, who took on the responsibility of raising them while simultaneously fighting for justice for her daughter. The trauma they experienced, watching their mother get shot and die, required extensive therapy and support. For her to be snatched and robbed from them, my main thing is making sure that we get justice for her, for them, for me, her brother and sister, her dad, all of the family and friends that she touched, Terry said. Memphis, already struggling with high rates of violent crime, added Vanity's name to a growing list of victims. The city has consistently ranked among the most dangerous in America, with gun violence, homicides, and aggravated assaults occurring at alarming rates. In 2022, the year Vanity was killed, Memphis recorded 302 homicides, a staggering number for a city of approximately 630,000 people. Many of these murders, like Vanity's, remained unsolved. Her death highlighted the devastating impact of gun violence on families and communities. 2 children lost their mother, a mother lost her daughter, a community lost a leader and role model, and a business that helped many people with their taxes lost its driving force. Nothing but refund taxes couldn't survive without Vanity. The company she had built from the ground up, the business that was reaching 6 and 7 figures, closed its doors. Her entrepreneurial legacy, like her life, was cut short. Yet Vanity's spirit lives on through those who knew her. Her motivational messages, recorded in videos and social media posts, continue to inspire. Her emphasis on purpose over popularity, on investing rather than spending, on building generational wealth. These lessons remain valuable. And her sons, now growing up without their mother, carry her DNA, her determination, and hopefully her resilience. The community's response to the tragedy showed the impact Vanity had made during her life. Former clients spoke of how she had helped them navigate financial difficulties. Friends recalled her generosity and drive. Even people who had only known her professionally contributed to the support fund for her children. Vanity touched so many lives, said Pastor Crawford at a memorial service held on the 6-month anniversary of her death. Her work ethic, her dedication to her boys, her willingness to help others, these are the things we remember. These are the things we must carry forward. Local business owners in Memphis, particularly Black women entrepreneurs, created a mentorship program in Vanity's name, designed to help young women start their own businesses. The Vanity Lafayette Macklin Entrepreneurship Initiative provides guidance, resources, and small startup grants to women who, like Vanity, have dreams bigger than their circumstances. For her sons, now navigating life without their mother, the path forward is challenging but supported by this village that has formed around them. They attend school, play sports, and try to maintain some normalcy despite the trauma they've experienced and the ongoing absence of justice. Those boys are so much like their mama, Vanessa Terry told local media on the 1-year anniversary of her daughter's death. Strong-willed, smart, determined. They're going to be okay because Vanity raised them right. But they deserve to know who took their mother from them and why. Have you or someone you know been affected by gun violence? How did your community respond? Share your experience in the comments. As we close this episode, we return to the question that has haunted Vanity's family for over a year. Why? That is my biggest question. Why? Why? Vanessa Terry has repeated this simple query in every interview, every statement, every plea for information. Why would someone target a successful businesswoman and mother? Why would they shoot her while her children were in the car? Why has no one come forward with information despite a $25,000 reward? The answers remain elusive, but what's clear is that somewhere in Memphis someone knows what happened on October 17, 2022. Someone saw something, someone heard something, someone knows who pulled the trigger. And that person or those people have remained silent while two boys grow up without their mother. Memphis Police Department continues to investigate the case. The reward remains available, and Vanity's family continues to wait for justice. If you have any information about the murder of Vanity Lafayette Macklin, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, call the Memphis Police Department or Crime Stoppers at 901-528-CASH. You can remain anonymous. You might be the key to solving this case and bringing peace to a family that has suffered too long. As Vanity herself once said in one of her motivational videos, "We are not living in poverty, we are reaching our potential." Her potential was cut short by a bullet. Her sons' futures were forever altered in that moment. And a killer remains free. This is Shadows of Crime. We'll be back next week with another case that demands justice. Stay vigilant, stay aware, and remember, in the darkest shadows, the truth waits to be found.